5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Mixed Plate Podcast featuring your host and my dad, Brian B-Dub Williams.
I gotta get it.
All right. Welcome in. It is the introduction episode to the Mixed Plate Podcast. I am your host, Brian B-Dub Williams. Thank you for listening, checking us out, downloading the podcast. We will soon be on all forms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you can download your audio. That is where the Mixed Plate is going to be. But let's first jump right into the dry rub.
The dry rub. You gotta season your meats.
Well, for the first time in my life, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. That's right, we are going to Miami, Super Bowl 54, after the Chiefs knocked off the Tennessee Titans 35-24 in the AFC Championship game right here at Arrowhead. Big day for MVP Pat as he went 23 of 35 for 294 and 3 touchdowns with a QBR of 97.5. Mahomes also had 5 carries for 53 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 electrifying, unbelievable, eye-popping, the greatest touchdown that was just unreal. The fake move, the slow down, the juke move, and then just went through 5 defenders. And it looked like the Titans just didn't want to tackle him. They were trying to rip the ball. I don't know if they just didn't want to hit the quarterback, or were they just as mesmerized as we were watching some more Mahomes magic. Patrick is just unbelievable. You know, it's something that I have never seen in a young quarterback in my time in sports talk radio and in my time just watching football. There's no quit in this kid, and the way he goes about his business is just, I absolutely love it. I mean, he's got the God-given ability, the talent, the athletic ability. He's got a cannon for an arm. His ability to read the defenses and react to the defenses before the defense even makes a move, or the way he just dissects them, you know, while he's staring down a defender trying to move him left or right before the defender even knows he's being stared at. Just the things that he has done in his short career. And you just got, yes, it's his 3rd year in the league, but, you know, he said his first year, you know, for his 2nd year actually playing, and, you know, the stats that he's piling up, the games that he's having, the career so far, that he is just amazing, electrifying, and we're all witness to it right now here in Kansas City. And it's for the first time in our lives, you know, since first quarterback I remember when I was a kid was Bill Kenny, you know, Todd Blackledge, Steve Fuller, and we've never had our own quarterback. You know, we've always got somebody's retread. King Carl was the king of bringing in somebody's retread, whether it be San Francisco, mainly San Francisco quarterbacks, you know, let's be honest. He was the master of getting the retread quarterback and trying to do a patchwork offense with our amazing defenses, you know, led by Derek Thomas and Neil Smith, Dan Saliamua. It is just electrifying and refreshing to know that we have our own quarterback, and he is just, it's hard to put in words what I've seen from the kid so far, but I mean, he's head and shoulders, no pun intended, above everybody else in the league to me. Now, Lamar Jackson is right there below him as far as athletic ability and the havoc that he creates on the football field when they're in control and being able to run the football. But, you know, Patrick has it all. Patrick has all the tools, and we'll see in a couple weeks if he's able to, you know, bring home the Super Bowl championship. I mean, it is just an amazing time for all of us here in Kansas City, something that I never thought that I would get to say in my lifetime, that Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl. But yes, we are going to Miami. To me, this victory is so much more special than the Royals of 2014-2015. Now, Don't get me wrong. I loved every bit of the Royals. As a diehard fan, lifelong Royals fan as well. Actually did work for the Royals radio network between 2007 and 2017. Loved every bit of my time there. The Royals were bad for so long, and to a point mismanaged for so long, or non-competitive for so long, that yes, we got a couple years of a great team of some kids that won from single A, double A, triple A, all the way up into the majors, and we were able to watch that growth in that short period of time and do something special here. But to me, this Chiefs victory in the AFC Championship means so much more to me than that Royals, because of all the soul-crushing defeats that we had received. The Chiefs have been good for so long and so competitive for so long. Ergo, a couple years, I remember having to cover Tyler Thigpen and Brody Croyle and Damon Huard, and some of those Herm teams, and then the Pioli regime was just an absolute abomination. But they've been good for so long, and we suffered as diehard Chiefs fans all these soul-crushing defeats. The Montana concussion game, the Lynn Elliott field goal game, the no-punt game with Peyton Manning, the Andrew Luck game, the Steelers game where the Steelers don't even score a touchdown and still beat us here at Arrowhead, the Mariota pass to himself, and then last year in the AFC Championship game, the D Ford offsides game. Our defeats are so soul-crushing that they have names for them. And for Mahomes to come in here and Andy Reid to help, build this team and build this culture inside there to try to wipe away all that history, decades upon decades of losing playoff games and soul-crushing, defeat. Last week when we went down 24 points to Houston here at Arrowhead, sitting with a bunch of guys and lifelong friends, and we looked at each other and was like, oh my goodness, here we go again. And then all of a sudden, it's like that switch was hit to see the momentum just change on a dime after that Hardman return was just amazing. And then you couldn't stop Mahomes in the offense after that. We've never had that before here in Kansas City, not from the offensive side. Our defenses have been unbelievable. Back in the 90s, man, look, you couldn't tell me nothing with Derek Thomas on one end and Neil Smith on the other end. You had a secondary that was just headhunting and ball hawking. Linebackers were the truth as well. So this, to me, it means so much more, and it's almost like we got that monkey off the back. That curse, if there is one, is lifted. No more needing to go out to Arrowhead and sage the stadium like Fesco in the morning did with Bob Fesco and Josh Klingler and Ryan Wachowski last year. So it just, I'm ready. I'm excited. There's more work to be done, and this town is going to go bananas if they're able to win the Super Bowl. I mean, just absolutely bananas. Also, for the first time in franchise history, the Chiefs were able to win the Lamar Hunt Trophy, named after the owner of the Chiefs. And to be able to do that here in Arrowhead, his stadium, that was his vision, that he absolutely loved and adored, the tailgating, the atmosphere, the culture, something that him and King Carl helped bring back in the 90s and foster all throughout the 90s and 2000s. I really wish Lamar was here to see this, but I'm glad that Clark was able to bring that trophy home, Andy Reid and the team, be able to bring his dad's trophy home and present it to his mom. I mean, just the tears, just flowing. It's just a special moment, and to know that the trophy that's named after your owner finally gets to rest here at Arrowhead, man, that's amazing. And those guys should definitely feel proud. But there's still more work to be done. If you haven't had a chance, go out on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and catch the Mitch Holthus call of the end of the game. Mitch is one of the greatest in the business at being able to paint that picture. And for the longest, when I was in college at SMSU, and we would watch the games every Sunday at my house, our apartment, and we'd have a barbecue and the whole nine, and we would sync up the radio to the TV because it was a lot easier to do back then. Now with all the delays in different companies, it's a hassle, but it's still worth it. Go back and listen to that final call, as it is absolutely perfect. The passion, the emotion, the energy, everything that he put into that call spoke for every one of the Chiefs fans that I know. That just the sense of pride, the sense of, what, we're here, we've done it, it's on, let's go. It is one of the most absolute perfect calls that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of calls. I've produced a lot of games, produced a lot of sporting events. He's one of the absolute best. Kevin Harlan is another one that is just amazing. Good friend Denny Matthews, absolutely wonderful at being able to paint the picture and let the story tell itself on radio. Bob Davis, another guy who could do it as well. If you haven't had a chance, do yourself a favor and go play that audio. It will give you the goosebumps. To me, I've listened to it about 10 times and I still well up with the tears. Actually had the chance to go on the DA show nationally on CBS Sports Radio. Good friend that helped me get into this business, and was blessed to be able to work with him on the DA show in Kansas City on 610 Sports Radio. He is the godfather of Savannah, most of you know, and we'll get into those stories in future episodes of the Mixed Plate Podcast. But had the opportunity to go on with him. I went on him with him last year after the defeat, and just the raw emotion and the hurt of, we were so close and somebody couldn't pay attention to where the football was and lined up a yard off sides. That was the ultimate Chiefs. That's how the Chiefs lost games. Went back on with him today, just talking about the jubilation and the emotion, how numb I was with the tears flowing, because I'm not used to that. We've always been on the other side of those games. We've always witnessed those soul-crushing defeats. I mean, just snatch your soul, and you're like, why is this always happening to our team? So yeah, I had the chance to go on there and talk to him. If you get a chance, check it out on his podcast page at thedashow.com. He does mornings 6 to 10 Eastern in New York and throughout the United States. Great show, great guy, love the dude, one of my best friends. So if you get a chance, check that out as well. Next week on the Mixed Plate Podcast, we will do a little bit more previewing of the Super Bowl that's coming up on February 2nd, what the Chiefs can expect. Also, just more of the emotion of what this means for the city. So I look forward to that, and we'll talk about that on the Mixed Plate Podcast. Next episode will drop on January 31st. Hopefully, that was supposed to be the very first one, but with this Chiefs victory, I wanted to kind of get a quick podcast out, just breaking down just the raw emotion and what this feels like and what this means, and just how important this is for this franchise in this city.
The Low and Slow Spotlight.
All right, real quick before we jump into the Low and Slow Spotlight, I want to give a big shout out to C-Pen for the win. That's right, Bad Luck Chuck, or Big Buck Chuck, for staying away from Arrowhead. Thank you, sir. We appreciate what you did for the kingdom. Chuck is a viral sensation. I absolutely love everything that is happening to Charles right now. If you're one of those that are hating on him on social media, man, you need to check yourself. This is absolutely wonderful. Somebody from the town went viral, wasn't meaning to go viral. Friends and family absolutely believe he is a jinx, and he is just blown all the way up. Good Morning America, NFL Network, ESPN. Of course, he went on with C-Dot on 610 Sports Radio. All the local shows here. Went on with Shay and Shine on the Morning Grind on 103. So, I mean, my man's been everywhere. So, I know he does a podcast with my man Country Boy called Kingdom Cast. So, make sure you check that out as well. All right, switching gears, going back to the Low and Slow Spotlight of the Week. What is the Mixed Plate Podcast? Why am I doing it? Why now? A couple weeks ago on Instagram and Facebook, a lot of people were doing like 10-year pictures, from 2009 to 2019. And I had posted a couple pictures from my time at 610 Sports Radio in 2009 when I was doing a lot of production for the station and producing a couple shows and helping with the Royals Radio Network at the same time. And my daughter looked at him and was like, whoa, that was you? And I realized she never really got to listen to me on an everyday basis, what I did and what we brought to the table and the shows that we did and the fun that we had in radio. Now she knows that, when it comes time for interview segments for her foundation, she knows what that's all about. She knows going in and doing the marketing and, doing the shows on 610 Sports or 980 KMBZ or Hot 103 Jams. She knows all about that, but she's never really got to hear me on a day-to-day basis. And the radio bug has never left me. I've been bit. That's never left. It's something that I've always been passionate about, something that I've always loved to do, whether it's music, sports, entertainment. And that's what the Mixed Plate Podcast is going to be about. Every day we get a mixed plate in our life. Stuff is thrown at us, and I want to be able to cover everything that I want to cover, not just be pigeonholed into sports. And that was one of the things that really derailed one of the best shows, in Kansas City was we got told to stick to sports too much. And, I get it. I understand what advertising is all about and, what sells and, the target range that the company was shooting for. But, we liked bringing that pop culture, love me being from Northeast. I'm hip hop. And so I brought a different flavor to the station altogether, brought a different flavor to the DA show, brought a different flavor to What's Right with Nick Wright. And, just being able to do that, that's something that I want to do, put something together that I'm proud of and something that speaks to me. Would I love to do radio in Kansas City again? Absolutely, but it'd have to be the right situation. In a nutshell, that's what the Mixed Plate Podcast is going to be. It's going to be a little bit of everything. It's like when you go to the buffet line at Peachtree, you got to have the chicken, you got to have the catfish, you got to have the greens, the mashed potatoes, the candied yams, and definitely the macaroni and cheese. If you don't come away with a plate full of macaroni and cheese, especially when they bring it out from the back when it's piping hot, you get a little bit of that crust on there. Lord Jesus, thank you. So, that's the Mixed Plate, everything that you can possibly get, and that's what I want to do. So, we'll do a dry rub opening segment. The Low and Slow Spotlight segment is going to be something for the main topic that I want to cover, whether it be community members doing stuff in the community, whether it be some of my friends, national guests, local guests. Next week we're going to have an amazing guest that is doing some wonderful things in the Kansas City community as well as all over the world. So moving forward, I want to be an outlet to the people in the Kansas City community that are making a difference in our city, that are doing things, whether it be music, whether it be production, whether it be they have their own show, whether they are doing something philanthropic, whether they're serving their community. That's what the vision I had for the Mixed Plate Podcast and this segment was all about. So if you know of somebody or you would like to nominate somebody to be a part of the Low and Slow Spotlight segment, somebody you think I should interview or talk to about what they've got going on in the community, you can email me at themixedplatepod@gmail.com. Again, that's themixedplatepod@gmail.com. Or you can send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All of them are going to be located at the Mixed Plate Pod.
The Competition Cut.
I can't lose. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I can't lose. I gotta get it. Cause I ain't finished. Too busy winning. I can't lose. I gotta get it.
All right, the Competition Cut for this week on the Mixed Plate Podcast is a song. And the song is called I Can't Lose. The song has a lot of meaning to myself personally, my daughter Savannah, her foundation, Angel Hands Art Foundation, and the four people who put it together are godsends to my family, to my daughter, to the foundation. Absolutely love each and every one of them. They do an amazing work for local hip-hop artists from right here in Kansas City. Brandon Shockley, a.k.a. B. Shock. My man Maurice Elston, a.k.a. Reese Nichols. My man Gene Boyd, a.k.a. Below the Messenger. And that brother Kimsey Aaron Ward, battle rapper extraordinaire, a.k.a. A. Ward. They put this song together as an anthem for my daughter's fight and her foundation. So I'm going to play just a little bit of it for you right now.
Blank canvas in front of me, picture about to be painted, bro. Every stroke is a work of art. What you think that I'm painting for? Take a look at God's masterpiece. I'm just doing what I was created for. Devil tried his best to take me out. Here I am, still standing, bro. I beat the odds, let you decide. They call it luck, I call it God. Me losing is not an option. Determination all in my eyes. Ready for whatever life brings. Going hard after my dreams. Winning all through my bloodline. Losing ain't never been my thing. I can't lose. I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
All right, again, that is I Can't Lose by B. Shock, Reese Nichols, Below the Messenger, and A. Ward. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, anywhere that you can stream music. That's where you'll find I Can't Lose. You can also watch the video that was shot by my man, the CN Comedy, Clarence Lomax. The dude's brilliant. There's a video that they put together using Shock's vision, and you can check that out at angelhandsart.com. Click the link. You can buy the song there as well, as all proceeds are going back to Angel Hands Art Foundation. You can also check it out on Facebook and YouTube. Again, that is I Can't Lose by B. Shock, Reese Nichols, A. Ward, and Below the Messenger. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Look forward to having y'all on the Low and Slow Spotlight segment coming up.
The Burnt Offerings.
All right, this week's burnt offerings come from Matthew 25:14 through 18. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability, and immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5 talents. And likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more also. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid the Lord's money. What that scripture is saying to me is be intentional. Be intentional what God has given you stewardship over. Whether it's your time, your money, your talents, your finances, whatever it is. Because without Him, we are nothing. None of us are self-made. Like Pastor Jason said this past week in his sermon, we are not self-made. And, you know, the person that says that only looks foolish. We are nothing without God. So that is the burnt offerings for this week. Matthew 25:14 through 18. Be intentional is what he's saying to me.
The Burnt Intern.
Well, that's going to do it for the introduction episode of the Mixed Plate Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to doing many, many more of these. Looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Like I said, if you have a topic or somebody you think I should interview, talk to about what they're doing in the community for the Low and Slow Spotlight, please reach out at themixedplatepod@gmail.com, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mixed Plate Pod.
Thank you for listening to the first episode of the Mixed Plate Podcast. Make sure to download and subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're going to Miami. Go Chiefs!
Thank you, Voice Princess. Once again, this has been the Mixed Plate Podcast. We will see you again on January 31st, if not sooner. Make sure that you're following all the social media, the Facebook page, Instagram page, and Twitter for all updates regarding the podcast. Appreciate y'all. Remember, make a difference, be a blessing, change the world.
We just call on them. No Goliaths, no tall orders. Can't lose with my supporters. No losses on this locomotive. Tell that to all borders. I can't lose. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I can't lose. I gotta get it. Cause I ain't finished. Too busy winning. God got me, so I'm undefeated. Never lost and I'm tired neither. Life got a bunch of ups and downs. I play the game, he's a timekeeper. Scoreboard, show him up 10. No sweat, cause I trust him.